Welcome to another episode of Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brant Freeman, again joined via Zoom by Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers coming off a tough 27-6A opener against Wagner from this past Friday, 27-24 loss in overtime. Coach, certainly the final score indicates it was a very, again, difficult loss for the team to suffer this past Friday. What was your message to the team afterwards after playing such an emotionally and physically draining game like the one you did?
Well, it's always tough to lose, particularly a close one in overtime. You know, it always has a finality to it, last play type thing. But really the message is the same as it's been all year and really for the last number of years. When you're in this league and you play the other teams in this league, the game has that kind of feel to it every week, win or lose. And, they all have the potential to go down to the wire. You have the possibility of getting your heart broke. You have the possibility of being elated because you won that kind of game. It's not like maybe some other leagues where you have one or two of those every year, and then the rest of the games you get to walk in. We don't have that luxury. No one does. And so our players understood that. They were disappointed. We felt like we left some crumbs on the table. We let some opportunities get away that could have maybe turned the game the other way. But, that's not really an excuse. Wagner certainly could probably say the same thing. So, we were disappointed, but we're moving on.
So you look at the story of the game, and you're down 15-3 at the half. And of course, you were able to storm back and took a lead in the second half. We're up 21-15 going into the final possession for Wagner. What adjustments did you make at halftime to climb back into the game?
Well, most halftime adjustments are not really adjustments in the sense that you draw up new things in the sand. It's usually a process of layering off. Okay, let's get it down to these things defensively or offensively. This is what's working best against what they're doing. So let's feature these things and stay away from these things. And I thought we did a little bit of that. We ran the ball a little more effectively. We played a little bit better defense against the outside run of their option game that they're so good at. And then we really just kind of stayed the course and made some plays where earlier in the game maybe we weren't. And made enough plays to give us a lead, as you said, had a couple of chances to put the game away and make it to where it wasn't a one-possession game. Didn't do that, and then, of course, to their credit, they scored right at the end of the game to tie it in overtime.
You're looking at the play of your offense. Backup quarterbacks are always told they're one play away from getting the football. And lo and behold, that play happened. Jalen Nutt, for you, your starting quarterback, suffered an apparent ankle injury. Insert Jacob Cernohouse, who really got the offense going, added a different element to your offense. You're able to get a little bit more vertical in the passing game with Cernohouse and at quarterback. How do you feel as if he fared with this opportunity?
Well, that's always tough when you get thrown in there, just, no matter what the position, but certainly the quarterback position, you get thrown in there and you're up, and you hadn't warmed up, hadn't really done a whole lot since the pregame an hour or two earlier, and so I was pleased with how he stepped in and how he handled things, and he did make some nice throws, as you said, and sparked us a little bit, got us moving, and gave us a chance to win. So I'd be proud of him no matter what, but certainly we were proud of his effort last Friday night.
You and I, when previewing the game last week, really talked about that triple option offense for Wagner, just how difficult it can be to stop. In particular, L.J. Butler, of course, the head of the snake at the dive back position, never really hit that home run play for Wagner, albeit he did score the game winner in overtime. And as a whole, you really, I thought, defended the triple option extremely well, especially given the fact that you don't see that very often, if at all, over the past several seasons. So given what Wagner presented to you in terms of its offense, how do you feel as if your defense fared?
Well, I thought we did a pretty good job of trying to take away what they do best, which is run the option, as you said, and the misdirection off of the option. They do such a fine job with. While we certainly didn't completely shut them down by any means, we did limit a lot of their big plays, as you said. They made a few plays on 50-50 balls, balls that were thrown up in the air. They're not really a throwing team, but I thought in the end some 50-50 balls that we didn't come down with, and they did. There's a lot of things you could say were factors of the game. I don't know if it was the deciding factor, but certainly They made a couple of plays there that normally they don't make because they are primarily a running team, and for the most part, we were able to at least slow that down.
And of course, it takes all 11 on the field to slow down a triple option offense like Wagner ran, and all 11 at any given time did play well for you. But there is one player I would like to highlight. I thought Trey Moore was outstanding in the game this past Friday. His ability to get into the backfield and really disrupt the triple option offense. Maybe he wasn't in on every tackle, but certainly had an impact on, it seemed like, almost every play Wagner ran. Looking back at the effort that he gave you, what stood out the most?
Well, I think, Trey's a young man. Of course, this has been he's in his third year as a starter for us, and he's played at a very high level the last 2 years. But he's really ramped it up as a senior, which you would expect. He's another year in the system, another year bigger, stronger, smarter, understanding the nuances of the game. He's a student of the game. He's not just a physically talented player. He recognizes blocking schemes, and he can process. His inner chip computer in his mind allows him to process and know where to be before most people would know where to be, and then he's got the ability to be there. And he was a force in that game. He's been a force in every game, and he'll need to continue to be a force in all the games that we play.
Well, again, the Rangers coming off a difficult district opening loss against Wagner from this past Friday, but Smithson Valley did make its share of big plays in the game as well. And on that note, Coach Hill takes us through this week's Plays of the Week.
Our first play of the week, we will feature senior defensive end Trey Moore, who we mentioned earlier in the show. Trey's lined up here across from the Wagner's offensive tackle, and they're going to attempt a sprint out pass away from him. As the play begins, you can see the quarterback rolling left, and Trey's attempting to speed rush and go around the offensive tackle. He's able to get his foot in the door, and as he does that, you can see he's closing. And as he gets to the top of the screen, somebody's got to slow him up. Cooper Douglas, our senior cornerback, gets upfield and halts him. Doesn't let the quarterback get where he wants to get. When he does that, Trey comes around the outside, and he's pretty relentless and runs him down. Ball comes out. You can see just a big play by Trey Moore. Let's go to the end zone. You can see a little bit better. Trey's again featured over here on the left as we look at it. Goes around the corner. Now we're getting Darlington Frash on the left. On the right, Toby West. They kind of hold up the coverage. There's Cooper, number 18, holding him up. And then here comes Trey around the backside, swats the ball, spikes the quarterback. Ball comes loose. They're able to recover it, but a big play that thwarts their offensive play and drive. Feature a touchdown run here. We'll start with Gabe Hoskins, one of our running backs right here. He's going to do a good job of knowing who his buddies are. On this particular angle, you'll see big Colton Thomason, our sophomore offensive guard, pulling, and Gabe's a little bit smaller than Colton, as you can see. And he's smart enough, you know what? I'm just going to duck in here behind the big boy, let him nudge block that right there, and I'm going to hit in there and split him and go score from 11 yards out. If you look at it from the end zone, you get a clearer picture of what else went on right there. A couple of seniors that are playing well. Ryan Binka, number 63 on the left. Nathan Muchigamba, number 65 on the right. You're going to see they make a wall there. They've got a double team, and that gets the play started. And then Brandon Salvaggio, our senior fullback, he's walling the defensive end out. So between that double team and Brandon Salvaggio, you've got a nice alley to get into. There's Colton's block on the outside linebacker. And look at the hole Gabe's got. Look at the daylight on each side of him right there. And he's able to split them all and go get the touchdown. Well blocked, well run, good looking play. Our last play of the week's a special teams play, and feature a kid. We had a few injuries the other night, and some kids had to step up and do different roles on a moment's notice. We'll start with Austin Hosier. Our kicker does such a great job of kicking the ball over to the corner and kind of restricting the return man's option. We kind of limit where he can run by being able to corner kick. And then as we go down the field, Malachi Lane, one of our junior linebackers, he's either got to make the tackle or force the play to go somewhere else. They block him at the last minute, force the play inside, and when they do, a junior, Cade Hansen, who was pressed into service on a moment's notice, plays off of his block and makes a tackle. Our goal is to get him on the 20. He and Toby West get him down on the 16, and that's a big play by a couple of players, and Cade getting thrown in there in an emergency situation. And those are our plays of the week.
And again, a tough loss this past Friday against Wagner, 27-24. But the Rangers have a big chance to bounce back in another district game coming up this Friday against New Braunfels. We'll preview that game along with this week's Rangers trivia coming up right after this on Inside Rangers Football.
Hi, I'm Kelly Irwin. Sage Capital Bank is proud to partner with Comel ISD in supporting our community, families, and students. Go Rangers!
Hi, I'm Donna. I'm so excited to welcome Dermatology San Antonio to Smithson Valley.
I think we made a great decision.
You know, you have a beautiful office, but I brought a few things that I think you're really going to like. Principal Wall, are you here to welcome Dermatology San Antonio to Smithson Valley as well?
No, I'm here for my 3 o'clock Diamond Glow facial.
Principal Wall.
This week in Rangers trivia, the game this past Friday marked as the 8th overtime game in the Coach Larry Hill era, the first coming against Bastrop in 1997. Who did the Rangers beat for their first overtime win? Is the answer A, Bernie, B, Canyon, or C, Fredericksburg? The answer is C, Fredericksburg. The Rangers outlasted the Billies 37-36 on November 2nd of 2001 in a thriller that kept Smithson Valley's undefeated season alive. The Rangers would lose a game that year until the state finals, ironically in overtime against Denton Ryan for the 4A state championship. So again, Coach, that 2001 season, a great one for the program. You go 14-1. Again, the tough loss, yes, in the state finals. But take me back to that overtime game against Fredericksburg. I know you have a great memory. What do you remember about that game?
Well, you know, we were our own worst enemy most of the night. Fredericksburg, Coach Herbert had his group playing extremely well, and I think we were 8-0. I think they were 4-4, and we were playing up there. And you know, we did a little feature, kind of a documentary on that particular play or set of plays this past summer. It's on the Rangers Network.
Mm-hmm.
But we finally, you know, went down and tied the score, sent it to overtime. We were very fortunate to do that. We scored first in overtime and kicked the extra point, and they scored. And Coach Herbert kept his offense on the field, and they go for 2. And so it's down to the last play. They run a reverse, and Chris Dabbs makes a play there. You know, you would have thought we won the state championship. It was so exciting so lots of memories of that. And like you said, that springboarded us all the way to the state finals that year.
Well, now, Coach, let's go ahead and change gears. Looking ahead to the game this Friday against New Braunfels, there's some parallels between yourselves and the Unicorns. Both teams passed their non-district tests, each team going 2-0, but they lost their district openers this past Friday. In New Braunfels' case, a 37-14 loss at home against a very good Judson team. First impressions of New Braunfels, what jumps off the page?
Well, you know, their balance on offense. You know, they've got a really good running back and a real good running game. Their offensive line plays extremely well, but they've got a 3-year starter at quarterback who can and does spray the ball all around the field. Got great game savvy, knows where to go with the ball, very accurate thrower, can hurt you with his feet as well. So, you know, probably throw the ball more often and more effectively than anybody we've played. So, you know, we've got our hands full there. And then defensively, they got some big, strong kids up front in their 3-down defense. And, you know, their linebackers are a couple of returning starters that play at a high level. And, you know, they're just so well coached and sound. And through the years, there have been some memorable games. And we know we're up for a tall challenge this Friday night.
You mentioned the veteran quarterback Peyton Driggers getting ready for the game coming up Friday. He's a 3-year starter now for New Braunfels. Is there a challenge, Coach? I mean, again, the challenge last week was getting ready for the triple option. Is there another challenge for you, a hurdle, when having to change gears from defending triple option to a more traditional style offense?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, certainly Wagner was, you know, as far from that style of offense as you can be. And, you know, again, unlike most of our opponents, you know, we haven't seen a lot of 4 wide receivers, even 5 wide receivers. We haven't seen much of that this year. And so get ready for that now in a short week, and then get ready to not only defend those formations and the things that go with them, but an opponent that's executing those things at a high level is it's tough. But we'll have to be ready by Friday.
Riker Purdy, the running back for New Braunfels, had some big games in non-district play against San Marcos and Seguin. Got slowed down a little bit against Judson last week. When looking at film against Riker Purdy, what stands out about his ability to get out in the open field?
Well, I think he's very patient. He really rides the hips of those offensive linemen, stays right on their heel line, and waits till the last minute to make his cuts, both horizontally and vertically. And a lot of backs don't have that skill. They get impatient. They want to go somewhere. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. He has great vision, great patience, as I said. And then once the hole does develop, then he can get from 0 to 50 in a hurry, accelerate, and then has the moves and the speed when he gets in the open field to go the distance. So he's a complete back, and unfortunately, we'll have to defend him.
Now, you look at the play of the defense. You mentioned just how big and physical New Braunfels can be up front. You look at some of the numbers. Positives for New Braunfels, the Unicorns have forced 5 turnovers in the first 3 games. But on the other end of the spectrum, they've also been prone to giving up the big play. Where do you feel as if you match up best against New Braunfels' defense?
Well, I don't know, really. I don't know the answer to that. We'll try to do what we do best. We're best when we're running the football, and it sets up the throwing game for us. We're like most teams. We've had our ups and downs, but that's when we're the best. And whether that matches up well against New Braunfels or not, I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out Friday evening. But that's who we need to beat. We need to run the ball and then be able to throw effectively off the voids that are created in the defense by them stopping the run. So I think it'll be real important for us in the early going to get both of those elements going and then take care of the ball. If we don't turn it over, then let's punt it back and see if our defense can play well and give us a good deal on the exchange of punts. But we've got to create a few more explosive plays to get as many the other night as we've been getting. We've got to credit Wagner for that. And then we got to be more opportunistic in the red zone. We kicked 3 field goals the other night. I'm glad we have a kicker that can do that, but we need to get him kicking extra points and not field goals.
This is your first home game in 3 weeks, and one of just 4 you're going to play at Ranger Stadium this season. I know that the environment isn't what you're accustomed to given the circumstances that are presented to us currently, but how big of an opportunity is it for your football team to be back home this week and take New Braunfels on in 27-6A action in the friendly confines?
Well, football's football no matter where you play. There's a level of preparation and a state of readiness that you have to have. But there's no question I think that's easier at home. I think almost any team would say that. You're meeting in your normal meeting rooms. You're dressing in your normal locker room. You and your coach are getting together with a position meeting where you always do. There's no bus trip there. It's a stadium you practice in daily. So, obviously giving your druthers, that's what you do. Now, you've got to win no matter where the game's played. But we like playing in Ranger Stadium, and we're looking forward to having an opportunity this Friday night.
All right, Coach. Best of luck against the Unicorns on Friday.
Okay. I appreciate it, Brand. Thank you.
Again, Smithson Valley hosting New Braunfels this Friday at 7:30 at Ranger Stadium. We'll have live coverage of the game available for you right here on the Rangers Network. For head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brady Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next week.